This month, I introduced this new ongoing series for any of you navigating your mental health journey. And the rest of this month, we're intentionally focusing on the struggles of the Black community when it comes to mental health and how to break those barriers as Black History Month continues.
There was just times I just felt like I needed to go to the hospital like all the time because I was mentally just defeated and I just didn't want to be on Earth anymore.
That was 49-year-old Tarek Jackson's daily existence about 3 years ago. In and out of college, breaking off an engagement, living on the streets of Colorado, addicted to alcohol and clubbing.
Two guys walked by and called me the N-word. And I don't know, it's upsetting, but I just like lost it. And I started yelling like, somebody take me to the hospital. I'm gonna do off with myself.
A bipolar disorder left unchecked. Despite his struggles, Jackson is an accomplished man. In fact, his college degree, a master's in psychology. And while he studied the mind, his experience was never talked about in class or at home.
We don't really, for some reason, traditionally we haven't felt that mental health issues are quote unquote serious issues. So in all my years, I only know one other person that I know of in my whole family, both father's side and mother's side, that may have a mental health diagnosis. And, the odds are just against that.
Jackson now works in the outreach department of Magnolia Clubhouse in Cleveland, a facility that helps those with severe mental health issues get back on their feet. Over half of the population they serve are African American. 60% are male, and many struggle to find the help they need.
A lot of Black and brown people work in the service industry, and a lot of service industry jobs don't have health insurance.
Another component is a level of distrust.
There's been a mistrust over the years, definitely in the generation before mine, of the establishment, with civil rights and Jim Crow laws, and there just hasn't been a big trust of probably the medical community in general.
But taking that step and finding people you can trust is what Jackson says breaks those generational curses. What helped you?
My mom's a big, strong influence in my life. And when I was staying with my mom, she was like, you can't drink when you stay here. So I didn't want to be homeless, so I stopped drinking. And then I found Magnolia Clubhouse, which is a place to kind of go. And people that are kind of struggling with some of the same things you're struggling with, you can kind of go and have a place to be and be seen and felt heard and be important.
And you need to be heard, just like Tarek. And he's doing so great now. He's on his medication, seeing a therapist, and hopes to work for the Adams Board of Cuyahoga County under their partnership with Magnolia when the whole pandemic ends. But he's had help, as we mentioned. And we do have some resources up now on WKYC.com, because next week we dive into why even getting help can be harder for minorities. And the reality is that, you might watch this and relate to it and think, I have that. But you need to seek that professional help, and you could always find that at WKYC.com. Dave, the irony in meeting him and talking with him was he's educated, he's strong, he's got this psychology degree. You can be strong and still struggle with mental health. There's such a stigma to it, and he's so brave to talk about his own story and kind of breaking that generational gap, because I think a lot of times that's what we have to do, is sort of take that step forward and say, no, I'm not going to have this anymore.
Yeah, and for you to point that out and show that, and he has his master's, and it's made clear in what you're saying there, but also the very beginning, to hear him say, that he had a point where he did not want to be on this earth, and now where he is at, and for anyone at home that sees that and is feeling the same way, this can go a long way to saving lives.
Yeah. So again, those resources at WKYC.com.
Okay, Hollie, thank you. Maureen?